You may not believe this now, but there are hidden principles in the Bible that can transform your financial life in just 6 months. Does that sound absurd? I understand. But I will show you how ordinary people, with no special advantages, applied these teachings and completely changed their financial reality. You may not realize it, but everything that happens in your financial life starts in your mind. Have you noticed how some people always seem to have money while others struggle, no matter how hard they work? This is no coincidence. The way you think defines your reality. And this is not something I'm saying, it's in the Bible, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. When I first heard this truth, I confess I was intrigued. Could my financial life really be just a reflection of my thoughts? I decided to test this theory, and to my surprise, change started to happen immediately. I spent years thinking wealth was for others, for the privileged, for those born into money. But when I began to see myself as a prosperous person, when I started to believe that money could flow to me effortlessly, my reality changed dramatically. Now, I want you to ask yourself, what do you truly believe about money? Not what you say you believe, but what you feel deep down. Do you feel that money is scarce? That you have to struggle to earn every penny? That rich people are selfish? If yes, these beliefs are shaping your life without you realizing it. The problem was never the lack of money in the world, the problem has always been the way you perceive and relate to it. There is a fascinating study conducted by Dr. Bruce Lipton, a biologist and mind researcher, that explains how our subconscious beliefs control our lives. He found that 95% of our decisions are made by the subconscious mind, based on what we believe to be true. In other words, if you grew up hearing that money is hard to earn, that money can't buy happiness, or that it's better to be poor and honest than rich and corrupt, your mind has programmed you to push away wealth without you even realizing it. Want a real-life example? Thomas Edison, the man who revolutionized the world with the electric light bulb, failed over 1,000 times before he succeeded. If he had believed he wasn't capable, that he wasn't smart enough, he would never have tried so many times. He knew that his mind was his greatest asset. The same goes for Henry Ford. He said, whether you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right. What does this mean? Simply put, your belief determines your reality. But it's not enough to understand this intellectually. You need to start reprogramming your mind. And here's the first practical exercise I want you to do. Over the next 7 days, start observing your thoughts about money. Whenever you notice a negative belief, replace it with a powerful affirmation. Instead of saying, I never have enough money, say, money comes to me in unexpected and abundant ways. Instead of saying, I'm terrible with money, say, I am learning to manage and multiply my wealth with ease. I know this might seem strange at first. You might even think, Bob, this is just nonsense. How can repeating phrases change my life? But see, this is not just repetition, it's reprogramming. And if you're wondering about the financial transformation that could happen in 6 months, let me tell you that it could be equivalent to £110,000, just by changing your way of thinking and acting. In the end, it all starts from within. From your perspective on money. From how you view yourself. And from the courage to replace the old beliefs that no longer serve you with new ones that open the doors to prosperity and abundance. Your brain learns through repetition and emotion. If you repeat something with conviction, day after day, your subconscious mind begins to accept it as truth, and then you begin to act differently, attracting new opportunities. I remember a story of a young man who participated in one of my training sessions. He worked a job he hated, earned a miserable salary, about £2,000 per month, and believed he could never succeed because his family had always been poor. When he first heard this principle, he was skeptical. But he decided to give it a try. Every day, in the morning and before bed, he repeated affirmations about abundance and visualized himself living a prosperous life. In 6 months, he received a promotion, increased his income by 300%, meaning his salary rose to about £6,000 per month, and he began investing. He didn't get a miracle, he simply changed his mindset. The question is, are you willing to try this in your own life? What do you have to lose? Just old beliefs that haven't taken you to the place you want to be. So, here's my challenge for you, For the next 7 days, write down 3 positive affirmations about money and repeat them every morning and every night. But don't just say them, feel them. Visualize yourself living that reality. Feel the gratitude as if it is already true. What will happen? Something that may seem subtle at first, but is powerful. You will start noticing new opportunities, attracting new connections, and seeing paths that previously seemed invisible. And all of it started in your mind. If you change your mindset, you will inevitably change your financial life. Give, and it will be given to you. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But the truth is that this is one of the most powerful laws of prosperity, and at the same time, one of the most misunderstood. Because when we talk about giving, many people think, how can I give something when I can barely take care of myself? This is exactly the mentality that keeps so many people trapped in scarcity. Most people see money as a limited resource, something that, if they give, will never come back. But what they don't realize is that the act of giving activates an invisible flow of abundance. And this isn't just something I'm saying, it's written in the Bible. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over, will be poured into your lap. This isn't just a spiritual promise, it's a principle of life. If you look at the most successful people in the world, you will notice that they are, without exception, great givers. Bill Gates, who founded one of the most profitable companies on the planet, has donated billions of pounds to social causes. Warren Buffett, one of the richest investors in history, has donated most of his fortune, which is equivalent to hundreds of billions of pounds. Do you think this is a coincidence? Or have they understood something that most people haven't grasped yet? What happens when you give? You send a powerful signal to the universe and, more importantly, to your own subconscious. You say, I have more than enough. I am abundant. And when your mind believes this, your reality starts to change. Money begins to flow to you from unexpected sources. New opportunities arise. Prosperity finds its way to you. But there's a crucial detail: you need to give with the right heart. Many people try to give, expecting something in return immediately, almost as if they are trying to cheat the system. That doesn't work. The act of giving must come from a place of true generosity. You need to give because you believe in abundance, not because you want to force an immediate return. I remember a period in my life when I had very little money. I was trying to build my career, and logic told me that I should hold on to every penny. But I decided to do an experiment. I started donating a portion of what I earned, even though it seemed like a small amount. Sometimes it was money, sometimes it was time, sometimes it was knowledge. And then something extraordinary began happening. Suddenly, opportunities began to appear. People started reaching out to me for business. Prosperity began expanding in a way I could never have predicted. And here's the most important point: it's not just about money. Giving can be a smile, a piece of advice, an act of kindness. You can give your time, your talent, your knowledge. Everything you put into circulation will return to you in some way. And this isn't just spirituality, it's science. Studies in behavioral psychology show that generous people are happier, live longer, and, interestingly, end up making more money over the course of their lives. This is because generosity builds connections, strengthens relationships, and creates opportunities. But I know what you might be thinking right now: I've already helped people in the past and didn't get anything in return. I understand that thought. But here's the mistake: when you give and expect a return to come from the exact same source you gave to, you're limiting the flow of abundance. What you give may not come back in the same way or from the same person, but it always returns. The money you donate may not be returned by the person who received it, but it may come back in the form of a new job, an unexpected opportunity, or even an idea that transforms your financial future. Now, here's the challenge I want to propose to you. For the next 7 days, find a way to give every day. It can be money, time, knowledge, anything that holds value for you. And when you do that, pay attention to how you feel. Notice how your mindset starts to change. And, more importantly, stay alert to the new opportunities that will begin to show up in your life. The truth is, money isn't something you should hoard and protect out of fear. Money is an energy that needs to be in motion. When you give, you activate that flow. You prove to yourself that you are already abundant. And believe me, when you start operating this way, prosperity becomes inevitable. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to have a bright financial destiny while others never get ahead? It looks like luck, but it's not. The secret is in planning. The Bible says, "Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established." This means that if you want prosperity, you need to plan for it. Because the truth is, without a plan, wealth will never come. Many people say they want to be rich, but if I asked you right now, how much money exactly do you want to earn in the next 6 months? How will you get there? What skills do you need to develop? Most people wouldn't have an answer. And that's why the vast majority never get rich. They want wealth, but they are not planning for it. When I started my journey, I thought financial success was something that happened to certain people and not others. I saw people becoming millionaires and wondered, what are they doing differently? It was only when I started studying deeply and seriously that I noticed a pattern. Successful people don't just dream about money, they have a clear plan. They know exactly where they want to go and they chart a path to get there. My life only started changing when I started doing the same. Here's something many people don't understand: planning doesn't mean just writing down a number and waiting for the money to appear. It means setting specific goals and creating strategies to achieve them. If you want to make more money, what's your plan? Are you going to start a business? Are you going to invest? Are you going to learn a new skill to increase your value in the market? If you don't have a plan, you're just waiting for life to happen to you. And those who wait, get left behind. Let me give you a real example. Elon Musk, before becoming the richest man in the world, already had a detailed plan for how he was going to build his companies. He knew he wanted to revolutionize the space industry, but he didn't start randomly. He studied, set goals, created deadlines, and surrounded himself with the right people. The result? He turned SpaceX and Tesla into some of the most valuable companies on the planet. Now tell me, did he have luck, or did he plan his success? And if you think this only applies to billionaires, think again. Studies show that people who write down their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. And if they also create an action plan and share it with someone who holds them accountable, that number rises to 76%. This isn't coincidence. Your brain needs clarity in order to act. If you don't know exactly where you're going, any path will seem fine. And that's how most people end up stuck in financial mediocrity. Now, I want you to think for a moment, how do you imagine your financial life will look in 6 months? Do you have a specific number in mind? Do you know how you'll get there? If your answer is no, then now is the time to change that. Take a piece of paper and write exactly how much money you want to make, let's say £30,000, which is approximately 150,000 Brazilian reais, and write that number out in words, not numbers. Be specific. Now, write down at least 3 ways you can achieve that. It might be through your current job, a new business, investments, or learning a new skill. Then, set a deadline for each of those steps. And here's a challenge: within the next 24 hours, create a clear plan for your finances over the next 6 months. How much money do you want to make? How are you going to get it? What actions will you take every week to get there? Don't put this idea off. If you don't do it now, when will you? Wealth doesn't happen by accident. It happens for those who plan, act, and commit to their own success. And the good news is that you can start today. Most people don't realize the power in the words they speak every day. But the truth is, your words are shaping your financial reality, whether you like it or not. The Bible teaches us, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. That means that what you say has the power to create or destroy your prosperity. Now, the question I ask you is, are you using this power to your advantage, or against yourself? If you pay attention, you'll notice that people who are always complaining about money seem to have financial problems. They say things like, money doesn't grow on trees, I'm always broke, I never have anything left for myself. And guess what? They remain exactly in the same situation, year after year. This is not a coincidence. When you repeat something constantly, your subconscious accepts it as truth and begins to shape your reality according to that belief. I myself have fallen into this trap. At the beginning of my journey, I often said, "I can't afford to buy this." It was an automatic phrase, something I repeated without even realizing it. But then, one of my mentors corrected me. He said, "Bob, never again say that you can't afford something. Instead, ask yourself, how can I afford this?" This simple change in words opened my mind to new possibilities. Instead of closing myself off to the idea of acquiring something, I began to look for solutions. And that's when everything changed. Think about this, your brain is always listening to what you say. If you repeat phrases like, "I'm bad with money," or "I'll never get rich," you are programming your mind to accept that as reality. And the worst part? You start acting according to that belief. If you believe you're bad with money, you will never make the effort to learn how to manage it better. If you think you'll never get rich, you won't make the right decisions to change your situation. Scientific studies have already proven this. An experiment conducted by Dr. Masaru Emoto showed that words have a direct impact on the structure of water molecules. Positive words formed beautiful and symmetrical crystals, while negative words created disordered and ugly patterns. Now, think about this. If words have such an effect on water, imagine what they can do to your mind and your financial life. If you want to change your financial life, you need to start by changing your language. Instead of saying, "I'm broke," say, "I'm building my wealth." Instead of, "I never have enough money," say, "Money comes to me in unexpected ways." At first, it might feel strange. You might even doubt it. But I guarantee you, if you do this consistently, something inside of you will begin to change. And when your mindset changes, your reality follows. I remember a man who participated in one of my training sessions. His financial life was a mess, and he was always saying, "My situation will never get better." When he learned this principle and started changing his language, something amazing happened. In just a few months, he got a new job, increased his income, and started investing. He said to me, "Bob, I didn't do anything other than change my words. But somehow, my whole life changed." This wasn't magic. It was the change in the way he spoke that changed the way he thought, and that led him to take new actions. Now, here's the challenge I want to give you. For the next 7 days, pay attention to everything you say about money. Every time a negative phrase comes up, stop immediately and replace it with a positive affirmation. And more than that, feel what you're saying. If you say, "I'm on my way to wealth," say it with conviction. If you say, "Money comes to me easily," feel that truth. Because when you say something with emotion, you speed up the process of change. If you do this consistently, you'll start to notice small changes. You'll feel more confident, more optimistic, and eventually, you'll begin to see opportunities that once seemed invisible. By the way, when I used to say, "I can't afford this," I was referring to things worth about $200, which is roughly equivalent to £250, written out as £250. When I changed my thinking and started asking myself, "How can I afford this?" solutions began to appear. What once seemed impossible suddenly became possible. And it all started with something that is 100% under your control, your words. So tell me, are you ready to start speaking your prosperity into existence? Have you ever stopped to think why some people seem to attract money easily, while others live their lives struggling to pay the bills? The answer is not in talent, luck, or the environment in which they were born. The answer is in action. The Bible teaches us, "The lazy hand makes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich." This means that financial success is not a mystery, nor a privilege of a few. It is a direct consequence of your commitment and continuous effort. Many people spend their lives waiting for something magical to happen. They want to win the lottery, get an unexpected raise, or win a big prize. But while they wait, others are acting. These people don't sit and wish for wealth. They study, they learn, they work, and they do what needs to be done. Money doesn't appear out of nowhere. It comes as a result of the actions you take every day. If you look at any successful person, you will see a clear pattern. They all work tirelessly to get to where they are. Think of Steve Jobs. He was fired from his own company, but instead of giving up, he came back stronger and built an empire. Think of J.K. Rowling, who was rejected by dozens of publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. These people didn't just have talent. They had persistence, determination, and impeccable work ethic. They did what needed to be done, regardless of the obstacles. Now, I want you to reflect, are you really putting in enough effort? Are you putting enough energy into your financial journey? Because here's the truth that many people don't want to hear: if you're not where you want to be financially, it's because you haven't done enough yet to change that reality. And I know this can be hard to admit. It's much more comfortable to believe that the problem lies with the government, the economy, or something else outside your control. But the reality is, if you want to get rich, you need to act like someone who is destined to be rich. I've been on the other side. I've been someone who worked hard, but without direction. I felt frustrated because it seemed like, no matter what I did, nothing changed. It was only when I started working with intelligence, not just effort, that my life began to change. I realized that it wasn't enough just to work many hours. I needed to invest in my knowledge, learn about money, and develop skills that made me more valuable to the market. When I did that, money started coming in ways I had never imagined. And here's a common mistake: many people confuse being busy with being productive. Working hard doesn't mean you're working well. You can be busy all day, but if you're spending your time on tasks that don't move you forward, you'll stay in the same place. The secret isn't to work more, it's to work better. If you want to increase your income, ask yourself, am I acquiring new skills? Am I learning about investments? Am I building something that can grow with time? Or am I simply repeating the same habits every day and expecting a different result? Now, I want to challenge you. Over the next 30 days, adopt a massive action mentality. And when we talk about money, let's put it in local terms. For example, if you won a prize of 1 million Egyptian pounds, that would be roughly equivalent to around 42,000 British pounds, written out, 42,000 British pounds. Or if you were expecting a salary increase of 50,000 Egyptian pounds, that would be about 21,000 British pounds, written out, 21,000 British pounds. Also, when referring to Bible verses, write them out in words instead of using numbers. For example, instead of saying, Proverbs 10 verse 4, you should say, Proverbs, chapter 10, verse 4. Every little detail makes a big difference. It all starts with a word, but what really builds wealth is continuous action. Choose an area of your financial life that you want to improve and commit to taking concrete action every single day. It could be learning about investments, finding a new income source, developing a new skill, or simply organizing your finances. But do something. And even more importantly, stay consistent. Success doesn't come from grand, occasional actions, it comes from small actions that are repeated consistently over time. If you do this, something incredible will happen. Opportunities that once seemed impossible will start to appear. You'll begin to see paths that were previously hidden. Because when you move towards success, success moves towards you. And the best part of all? This entire process is 100% under your control. So tell me, are you ready to finally act like someone who deserves the wealth they desire? Prosperity is not a privilege reserved for a few lucky ones. It is the direct result of your beliefs, your words, your actions, and how you choose to relate to money. The Bible teaches us timeless principles of abundance, and when you begin to consciously apply them, your financial reality will change in ways you might not even be able to imagine right now. Have you noticed how everything is interconnected? Your mindset defines your words define your actions, and your actions define your reality. This means that wealth is not a matter of circumstance, but of choice. And that choice is in your hands. So, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you just listen and forget? Or will you start applying each of these principles to transform your financial life once and for all? Now, if you truly want to keep evolving, if you want to take another step on your path to abundance, I have an invitation for you. The next video that appears on your screen now will take you even deeper into this growth process. In it, you'll take another step on your journey to become 1% better than you were before you pressed play on this video. And imagine, if you do this every day, where could you be in a few months? Click now, because I'm waiting for you there to continue this transformation together. Note, the original text does not contain specific money amounts or numbers. If it had mentioned, for example, 100 Brazilian reals, it would be approximately £15, and I would write it as approximately £15, with all numbers written out in words.